Obstürmt oder steigt,
Und die Sonne uns lacht, der Tag jüdet meist, oder eiskalt die Nacht. Bestaunt sind die Gesichter.
All right, we are back again, and we are playing some Flames of War. This time we're going back to mid-war. We have the Americans versus the Italianos and the Avanti list. Here's a quick look at our table. We've got a like a small town square there with some buildings. We've got some orchards set up over in the corners. This is an invasion of Rome, or an invasion of Italy. So we've got some Roman ruins there. We've got some farms and some fields in the back, some forests, plenty of fences. We have our statue in the middle of town of El Duce, so the Americans can knock it down. We're going to be playing with a corner deployment this time. The Americans are going to be over here in this corner. The Italians are going to set up over there in that corner. And we have our three objectives. Objective number 2, objective number 1 in the center of town, and objective number 3 over there in the corner. So there we go. There's a far shot look at our table, and we will take you guys over to the army lists. All right, here's a look at our Americans from the Fighting First book. We're going to have going to be led by a Sherman company. So here's our HQ. We have 2 platoons of 4 Shermans, a platoon of 3 Shermans. We are also going to have a platoon of 4 Stuarts, a platoon of 3 Lees, a Stuart observer, a platoon of priests, 2 P-40 Warhawks. We are going to have an armored rifle platoon in their half tracks. They also include 7 bases of infantry, 2 M1911 machine guns, 5 bazookas, and the command section there. And we are also going to have a ranger platoon. So there we go. That is 160 points, because we're going to stick with that number for a little bit, of the Americans from Fighting First. A little bit greener than we're used to with the Americans, so we'll see how they stack up against the Italianos. All right, we'll take you guys over to see what the Italians are bringing to the table. What do you have for 160 points of Italians to match against the Americans?
Got a P-2640 Commander, along with 3 P-26s, 2 units of 4 M14 41s with an M14 Commander, 4 Semiventi Longs, 4 Semiventi 90s over here, 4 Howitzers, 4 light anti-tank guns, and 2 units of assault engineers.
Alrighty.
Oh, and 2 Stukas.
Yeah, and the Stukas are from a command card, right?
Uh-huh.
They allow you to take those instead of, what are they, Falcos?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, some little bit better air support for the Italians. All right. So, we will get ready, roll for deployment. The Italians will also roll their 1 million bayonets, see if any of their units get upgraded, and we'll bring you guys back after deployment. Okay, we are all deployed and ready to go. Over here on the American side, we have our Rangers, the Lees, the platoon of 3 Shermans, our commander, platoon of 4 Shermans, our armored rifles, our observer, platoon of 4 Shermans, the Stuarts hanging in the back, and the priests all the way behind the trees. And then, of course, the P-40s are in reserve. All right. What do we have over here on the Italian side?
Got the M14s, some assault engineers, the howitzers, the 790s, P-14 commander, P-26s, 750 longs, anti-tank guns, more assault engineers, and the other squad of M14s.
All right. We want to roll to see who goes first? 4.
6.
All right. You going to go first?
Yep.
All right. The Italianos are going to go first, so we will bring you guys back, and we'll see what the Italians can do. All right, this is where we're at the end of Italian turn 1. The Italian light tanks have moved around to this flank. They can't claim this objective this turn because they dashed. The engineers have moved up. Semventis are up on the hill. The commander is spotting there. The howitzers up on the hill managed to range in here. They didn't do anything, but they are ranged in. The Semaventi 90s did bail out 2 of my grants and then destroyed 1. So that's not good. And of course, those guys failed to remount at the end of the turn. Moving over here with a lot of combined fire from the Semaventi longs, the anti-tank guns, and the regular light tanks. They bailed out 2 of my half-tracks that failed to remount, and they destroyed a half-track, pinning down that unit of infantry. And then, I'm sorry, the Semaventi longs didn't go for the half-tracks. They went for the Shermans and destroyed one of the Shermans in the woods. So that was just the light tanks and the anti-tank guns that picked on the half-tracks. So as of right now, nobody controls an objective and no units were completely destroyed. So we are at 0-0 at the end of Italian turn 1. We will see how the Americans can respond to this, and we'll catch you guys back up after that. Okay, one thing to catch up on before we move to American turn 1. I forgot I do have a command card. They don't know when they're beaten, so a unit can automatically pass all of its remount tests. I'm going to use that on the half-tracks so that I can have them started at the beginning of my first turn. So they'll be all ready to go, and so we'll catch you guys up again after American turn 1. All right, here things are at the end of American turn 1. Thanks to the use of that tactics card, the half-track crews got out and they moved up into the woods. The half-tracks moved up to here and machine gunned those anti-tank guns, taking out 2 of them. The Shermans managed to bail out one of the light Italian tanks. And then with a wonderful long shot from our commander here, needing 7s to hit, managed to hit the bailed out tank and destroy it. That was kind of cool. The Stuarts did a cross-country dash to there. And what else? Oh, the Rangers moved up here into the woods. This unit here, they... one managed to remount at the end of the turn, but he failed his last stand, so then this guy is now destroyed, and the other guy bugs out. The Shermans here, they couldn't hit anything. Oh, the Shermans up here in the center of town managed to bail out one of the Italian heavy tanks, and he did not remount at the end of the turn. So the Italians are going to get 3 points for this unit, and right now we're looking at 3 points to 0 in favor of the Italians. So we're going to go over to Italian turn 2. end of Italian turn 2. This unit of light tanks came over here and captured this objective. This is going to be high ground, so they are only hit at a +1 when the long range is 20 inches instead of 16. The Semaventi 90s up there, they bailed out all 3 of these Shermans. Then the 100 millimeter howitzers up in the trees, they managed to range in on these Shermans, and they bailed out one of them again, so he failed his motivation test, and then the regular Shermans failed to remount, so they're pretty much stuck there. Over here, these heavy tanks bailed out one of these Shermans in the center of town, but he remounted, along with the heavy tank in the rear that was bailed out. He remounted at the end of the turn. Moving over here, the anti-tank guns by the church took out another half-track. And let's see, the Semaventi longs, they didn't do anything, and these guys over here can't really see anything. So let's see, I believe that is it. This objective in the center of town, its objective card says that it's only worth 1 objective point and 0 if contested. So the Italians are within range to control that, so they have 1 point for that and 3 points for this one, so they are up to 7-0 for the Americans. So we're going to go over to American turn 1 and see if we can scrape up some points for ourselves. I'm sorry, American turn 2. And we'll catch you guys back up after that. All right, end of American turn 2, and this is where we're at. Our P-40s came in over here. Their AA didn't do anything, and I didn't do anything to their rear armor, so they're going to end up flying off and not doing anything. My priest re-ranged in on the Semaventi longs, or I'm sorry, Semaventi 90s, bailed one of them out. He did not remount at the end of the turn. My Shermans moved up into the center of town to contest that objective, making it worth 0 points now. And we destroyed one of these tanks, and we bailed out 2 others, but they remounted at the end of the turn. Over here, my 2 Shermans, one of them remounted, and he did pass his last stand test, so hopefully we can get the other one back in. Moving over here, the half-tracks destroyed another one of the anti-tank guns, but he passed his last stand. My Stuarts over on this side came around. They took out one of the light tanks, and both them and the infantry are holding that objective for the American side. These Shermans here moved out of the woods. One guy failed his cross test. They rattled some shots off at the Semaventi longs, but didn't amount to anything. So right now we are sitting at 3 points for the Americans, and what are you up to, 10?
Uh-huh.
All right, so 3-10 in favor of the Italians, and we will move on to Italian turn 3 and see how things go. Here we are at the end of Italian turn 3, so starting over here. These guys didn't do anything because they fired AA on my last turn. The assault engineers occupied the warehouse. The assault engineers and the howitzers picked on my rangers, taking out 3 bases of them. The Semaventi 90s bailed out another Sherman and destroyed one here. Over here, the Italian heavy tanks destroyed one Sherman in the center of town. And then over here, the Semaventi longs destroyed, they bailed out 2 half-tracks and one remounted at the end of the turn. And then over here, the light tanks moved around to the side and took out one of my Stuarts. So that is where we sit there. The Italians are now just barely contesting that objective. They are contesting this objective, and they used a tactics card to swap this objective marker, and it is now a swamp. Somehow we have a swamp in the middle of town. So they are contesting that one and controlling this one. So the Italians earned 5 points this turn, which takes them up to 15, and the Americans earned 2 because contested objectives are worth 1. So 5 to 15 in favor of the Italians, and we're going to go over to American turn 3. All right, things are looking a little better on American turn 3. First, the bad news. The P-40s came in again, but this time the Italians took out one of them with their anti-aircraft. The other one bailed out 2 of these guys. Only one of them remounted at the end of the turn. Over here, the priests were still ranged in on the Avanti 90s and destroyed one of those. Over here, the Shermans took out another one of the Italian heavy tanks, but this guy passed his last stand. Moving over here, we managed to, with the half tracks, managed to pin this anti-tank gun again. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. The Shermans over here, they moved up. They bounced some shells off the Semaventi Longs. These guys moved up, and all the bazookas managed to bail out one of those light tanks. And then the Stuarts moved up. 2 of them cranked their turrets around and destroyed both of those. And then all of these rifle teams and one of the Stuarts managed to pin those guys. But the unfortunately, they managed to rally at the end of the turn and unpin. So that's where we sit. The Americans are controlling Objective 3, which is worth double points. So we got 6 for that. And we also got 3 points for destroying that unit of light tanks over there. So the Americans are now sitting on 14 points. The Italians are contesting in the middle and control this objective. So they are at, what would you have, 20? Yeah, 20. So 14 to 20 in favor of the Italians. And we will get ready to move over to Italian turn 4. All right, so that was a pretty vicious turn from the Italians. So what happened is, forget that. So these guys, they shot AA, so they couldn't really do much. These engineers, however, with their flamethrowers and their rifles, managed to, with the help of the commander in the light tank, they managed to knock my Rangers down to 1 guy. They pinned them. They did unpin and pass their last stand at the end of the turn, but my Rangers are pretty much decimated at this point. The Semaventi 90s destroyed the last of these Shermans, netting another 3 points for the Italians. The Howitzers up on the hill ranged in on my Shermans in the center of town and bailed one of them out. He did not remount at the end of the turn. The commander and the heavy tanks, they just bounced some shells off the Shermans. Moving over here, this anti-tank gun is still pinned. The Semaventi Longs, they destroyed my commander, so now I don't have a commander. Over here in the woods, the the engineers tried to take on my Stuarts. They bailed one guy out with a flamethrower, but he remounted at the end of the turn. And then they tried an assault, and the Stuarts repelled the assault, destroying 5 bases. Pinned those guys, but they did manage to rally at the end of the turn. So thanks to controlling that objective over there. Before I forget, the very sneaky tactics that the Italians pulled is they used a tactics card that let them switch an objective card from one objective to another. So they moved the objective card where they get double victory points to their objective. So now they're getting 6 points a turn for this one. And the Italians are up to 33 points this turn to 17 for the Americans. So the Americans are going to play their turn 4, but I don't think we're coming back from this one. So we will go on to American turn 4, and we'll catch you guys back up at the end of that. Okay, end of American turn 4. The P-40 came in again, bailed out one of these guys, and there was already one bailed out from last turn, but they both remounted at the end of this turn. But the Italians are still in control of that objective. My remaining team for the Rangers are hiding in this building. The Shermans routed off some shots and took out the last member of the heavy tanks. So that netted us 3 points. Over here, the half tracks again tried to take out that gun team, but he made every single save. The Shermans over here, they bailed out one of the Semaventi Longs over there. And my Stuarts finished off the assault engineers with shooting, and then there was one base left that we assaulted and took him out. I tried to take him out with a bazooka from the rifle team in the woods, but they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And, the priests went after the Semaventi 90s up on the hill again, but couldn't manage to do anything. So that is where we sit. The Americans are controlling the objective over there, contesting the objective in the center of town, and the Italians still have this one. The Italians are up to 38 points and 24 for the Americans. So we are going to go ahead and call it there in favor of the Italians. We might be able to keep this one going, but I think with the Italians having that objective worth double, and I don't have enough in this area in order to get over here. And it would take me at least a turn or probably 2 turns to get something over here that could observe for the priests in order to try and shake these guys out of here. So the Italians are just going to keep building up off of that objective. So I think they're just going to stay in the lead. But this was a fun game. It was definitely interesting to see the Americans in action getting hit on 3s. The Italians were definitely a big surprise. They came out swinging for the fences. Anything you want to add?
I definitely enjoyed playing the Italians. I feel like most of their abilities come in their tactics rather than being able to actually destroy things. Because I didn't destroy much in the way of tanks. Only a couple.
Well, you did take out 2 units. You took out the Shermans here and the Grants here, and then a couple tanks from the other units.
Yeah.
The Americans could probably take over the center of town, but I think with you still have more observers on the table than me, and with your Semaventi 90s being able to protect anything that's going to approach that hill, and then the 100 millimeter howitzers up there, I think you're going to be able to rain fire down on pretty much anything you want.
I was really disappointed the Stukas never showed up, but I guess this game I just had some unlucky rolls with them.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. That they just didn't come in at all. I guess the Germans just, decided to say screw you to the Italians. They can handle it themselves.
I mean, we did.
Yeah, and they didn't even need it, so that would have been interesting. I think if the Stukas would have come in, I think my priests would have been gone, and that was probably doing the most work for me. Either the priests would be gone or the Stuarts would be gone.
Yeah, I feel like most of the destroying power is in the howitzers and the Semaventi 90s.
Yeah, those are nasty.
Yeah, it's partially why I want to get some of those trucks that just have the 90mm guns on the back.
Oh yeah, those will be kind of neat to throw in. And I think you can take those in larger units. I think they come up to 5 in a unit. So that'd be pretty cool. All right, all in all, a fun game. You got anything else?
Viva Italia!
I think as far as Flames of War goes, next one might be Late War because I have a Late War list in mind. And I'm not sure where we're going from there. We may get in either some fantasy or 40k because there was also some talk of Skaven and Tomb Kings coming up soon. So, or Skaven versus Empire, one or the other. So, one of those two will be our next game. I thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
You fell victim to one of the classic blunders. The most famous is never get involved in a land war in Asia, but only slightly less well known is this: never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.